because you have such a personal connection to this project, obviously. So how do you take your personal experience and then fuel it into outcomes for the project or into processes that others can use or implement into their own practice, or like you mentioned for the practitioners? How do you then fuel that through STANA and make it an outcome?
Right. I think you have conversations with these groups of people. You find different like champions within that community that can go forth and spread your message of what you're trying to do and why it's important, and make more opportunities for Stana to like network with these clinicians themselves, but also like clinician organizations, right? An amazing goal would be to have like curriculum changes. Let's talk
Mm.
about smell and taste dysfunction in the actual curriculum for a primary care provider. That way they know what to do when they come across a patient. Because right now, I think it's probably like a footnote in one chapter of one textbook during medical school, right? So we're competing with all the other really, really important information that these providers need to know. But I think by moving forward and having conversations with clinician organizations and clinicians themselves, we can start to change this so that people are more aware of what to do when they come across patients like me and patients who have maybe like parosmia or they are born without a sense of smell. We're all very different from each other.
Yeah, and that would improve this lack of awareness overall. If we could somehow inform from the beginning, then we all would have that information and then there wouldn't be a lack anymore.
And one thing that we currently don't do that is desperately needed is test. We don't test for smell and taste dysfunction, right? So you talked about it earlier. Do you remember when you were young and you'd get a yearly eye exam at school or at your doctor's office? When my son was born in 2021, and within 24 hours of birth, someone wheeled in a cart to do a hearing test on him. Nothing like that happens for smell or taste. We don't value it, so we don't test it. And I think we don't test it because we don't know what to do with it, right? So, okay, all these people have smell dysfunction. Now what? Right?
Yeah.
Because there's not really a lot of treatment options. And so it's kind of a catch-22. We need to test people so that we can understand how many people are affected. And we can use that information to then advocate for, look at how many people are affected. We need more treatment options, right? That's where we
Yeah.
need to get in the future.
So before we conclude the podcast with our last question, is there anything else you want to add about Stana, or about maybe something that's coming up, or your next, what you're working on next within the
Yeah, so one thing that I can make a pitch for if people are interested is we do have a change.org petition where you can go sign to advocate for universal screening for smell and taste. Again, we're hoping to raise awareness and to make this a standard practice when you go to your doctor's office that you would be tested for your sense of smell. This isn't just for people like me who have anosmia due to like a sickness or maybe a head injury, or those who have congenital anosmia. People lose their sense of smell, diminishes as they age, right? And so all of the same issues that I described that affect my life, nutrition, safety, mental health, that applies to older adults who are dealing with hyposmia, which is a reduced sense of smell, or anosmia. So to say that it doesn't matter or that it doesn't affect that many people is just untrue. We really need universal screening because everyone ages, everyone gets older. And so we should start having these conversations and be aware that for our older adults, they're going to be dealing with these same issues too. So I would advocate, if you're interested, to check out that change.org petition, and I can share that with you.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
notes.
we'll add it to the podcast information.
Perfect.